Alright, so it's officially the year of Josh Brolin. First he stars in Avengers Infinity War, then he goes on to be Cable in Deadpool 2, and now he is starring in the sequel of the Oscar-nominated Sicario, Day of the Soldado. He owns this year, okay? Everyone else, take a seat. Hello ladies and gentlemen and movie lovers of all kind, and welcome back to another new release review. For today, I will be covering Sicario, Day of the Soldado. And I'll probably just refer to it as Sicario 2 rather than blurting out that mouthful every single time I want to distinguish between the first and the second movie. So Sicario 2 was directed by Stefano Sollima and stars Josh Brolin, Benicio del Toro, and Isabella Moner. This time around, the plot is much simpler, I think. There are things that unravel that I can't discuss because that would be spoilery. The US government really wants to, take out the Mexican cartel after a number of suicide bombings take place. But in order to do that, there needs to be more chaos. So they hire Josh Brolin's character to go in and start a war between the different cartels located in Mexico, and that's essentially the plot. So just to hop right into the positives, guys, first and foremost, the cast. The cast is phenomenal, okay? There are other side characters that aren't really going to get too many mentions because the main three I want to focus on the most, and that's Benicio del Toro, Josh Brolin, and Isabella Moner. These guys absolutely crush it. Benicio del Toro, he's good and everything. Same thing with Josh Brolin. I just said how it was his year. The two of them just absolutely nail their roles. They are so believable. Benicio del Toro just plays this broken, torn father who is a hitman, like the best of the best when it comes to hitman. Josh Brolin does not care, but does not care in the most badass way. He's a person that he doesn't care who he has to kill, doesn't matter what he has to do as long as the job gets done. He's no matter what, the job gets done, but he still finds a way to be so charismatic, yet so laid back. He's such an enjoyable character to watch. He's always cracking jokes. He's walking around eating food all the time, wearing Crocs. Like, he's so laid back, but he's such a badass, and he kills it in this role. Same thing with Benicio del Toro. The two of them, I can't decide which one I love more in these movies. They both absolutely crush it. And Isabella Moner, who you'd probably know, the only thing I knew her from before this movie was Transformers: The Last Knight, so if you saw that dumpster fire, then you know her from that. And in this one, she actually does a really good job. She really shows that she is a phenomenal young actress. She knows how to cry when she needs to cry. Her screams are believable, whether she's scared or she's angry or she's frustrated. She does such a good job portraying her emotions. She is an up-and-coming actress that you should definitely keep an eye on because she is really, really crushing it right now. This movie has a much more clear, concise plot. Basically, hey Josh Brolin, start a war with everybody, that way America can go in and kick some ass. There are twists and turns in this movie. There are different paths that the characters go on, and those are all very well fleshed out. They are definitely fleshed out. They don't leave any loose ends. They follow their own narrative paths, and they're very well focused in this movie. And even when you're jumping around to when things start to break up later on down the line, you still feel very focused. You don't feel flustered. You don't feel like you don't know what's going on at all. There's no hazy. There's no blurred lines. It captivates you quite a bit. At least it did for me. I really enjoyed everything that was going on, and I was always looking forward to the next scene and wondering what was going to happen next. And next is just the action. This movie is really, really good. The action is very well shot. It's very well choreographed. It looks really good. It looks brutal and sounds brutal. And the cinematography too is beautiful for the action sequences. The gore is really well done. It feels realistic. The explosions look really good. I feel like almost everything in this movie was practical. I didn't really notice much CGI at all. So then again, props to that, because you guys know how much I love practical effects and how much better they look, especially when it comes to action movies. So the action across the board, you can check every box there. They do a really good job. And the next is just the fact that this movie is very gutsy. What I mean by gutsy is just this movie doesn't care. It doesn't care who it kills. It doesn't care who it offends. It doesn't make a difference. This movie will kill you. It will shoot you. It'll blow you up. It'll run you off the road. It doesn't care. So I give props to that, because I feel like when you're trying to make a realistic, grounded movie, you have to do those things, because when it comes to the real world, when tragedies happen, the people that cause those tragedies don't care who gets hurt. So I feel like that movie realizes this very well. And the next part is the ominous, dark, and brooding score. Oh, I love the score to this movie. The kind of main Sicario theme when it shows the title and everything like that. I love it. The theme goes so well with the movie, and the score of the movie goes so well with the themes of the movie. It is dark, it is brooding, it is unrelenting, and it does a very good job at just kind of making you feel this movie overall. The score is very, very good. It's very tense, and they do a phenomenal job on that too. And lastly on the list of positives is the sound design in this movie. Like I said, when I said you feel the action, you definitely do. You feel the gunshots, you feel the kickback from the rifles, you feel the explosions, you feel and hear the bullets ricocheting off the windows and the cars and everything, and you feel the gravel spraying and the dust and everything. The sound design in this movie is phenomenal. phenomenal and by far one of the best aspects of this movie. And the negatives are a little heavy-handed, I think. And the first one is just that the pacing made the movie feel really long. You know, like I said, the story was good and it was captivating, but there were times where it didn't really feel that story-oriented, and it just kind of dragged from scene to scene. And then after only a couple of minutes of you being like, all right, this clearly has nothing to do with what I want to see, I just want to get to the next action sequence, or I just want Josh Brolin to be back on the screen, or Benicio del Toro, or whoever it is that is the main cast. Because like I said, no one really does a bad job in this movie, but the main cast is really what you're here to see. And that brings me to my next negative. The third and final act of this movie felt super long. I felt like this movie was over. It still had 40 minutes left of the movie. The last act felt super draggy. There still are intense things going on. There still are action sequences going on, and there's still interesting plot things. But for some reason, to me, it felt like a movie that was only 2 hours, felt like 2.5 to maybe even like 2:45. And that to me kind of sucked. And lastly, again, I'll never get into spoilers with you guys. This ending was so unsatisfying to me. I left the theater feeling like, yeah, like I know I said earlier a lot of the plot lines are fleshed out, but that's the thing, a lot of the plot lines are fleshed out. The main plot and where the characters ended up felt super unsatisfying to me. I felt like they could have done almost anything else and I would have enjoyed it more. It wasn't like they were going for a third movie, but I feel like there were little remnants of what could be leading into a third movie, and I don't feel like the Sicario movies are meant to be a trilogy or meant to be the next blockbuster action franchise. Like, I feel like it should have kind of just wrapped up here, to be honest, and it really didn't, and it left me very unsatisfied. All in all, guys, the positives definitely outweigh the negatives in this movie. Like I said, the main cast is phenomenal. It is a very clear, concise plot. The action is on point in this movie. The movie is super gutsy. Like I said, it doesn't care who it kills, doesn't care who it offends. It feels super realistic. The score, ominous, dark, brooding, phenomenal. It gives me goosebumps every time you start to feel the score pick up and stuff. I really loved it. It went so well with this movie and the whole tone of the movie. And the sound design, they absolutely destroyed that department. It was so good. And the negatives, the pacing made it feel super long at times, and the super long, especially in the third act, and the ending altogether of the main plot where the characters left off felt super unsatisfying to me, and I definitely don't think there should be another Sicario movie. I enjoyed Sicario Day of the Soldado. I actually enjoyed it more than the first movie, but all in all, guys, the positives are pretty big in this movie, so I'm going to be giving Sicario Day of the Soldado a 7.5 out of 10. So folks, if you like this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and let me know, how do you think Sicario 2 stacks up to Sicario, the Oscar-nominated film? And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and that's a wrap.